Cool. So I actually just want to call out, we have nothing to announce here yet, but to just like keep your eyes peeled in regards to the support lifecycle. We had a conversation, I think, in the last community call or the one before it. Thank you, Darwin, for pushing that chocolatey package so quickly. Yes, sorry, I'm going to go up the chat a little bit because we did get some good stuff here. There was some major perf fixes in 6.2. Some of those have already come in, but Dongbo, I know, worked heavily on the startup time and reducing that by doing a lot of profiling of the DLLs that got loaded and getting and that sort of thing. So definitely, I think some of that probably landed with Preview 3. I think a little bit.
Are you talking about PowerCode's comment, or?
Yeah.
I think he's asking because he wants to submit more perf changes.
There's is there time?
Yeah. So his question.
Yes.
So my recommendation, because I think there's a few. Which will possibly go wrong. Yeah. There's a few I know that you were working on. I say just submit it and then we'll evaluate it.
Yeah. If it doesn't come in with 6.2, it should come in with 6.3. So. No entry for 6.1.2 in the changelog. That's interesting. Yeah, there is. It's just below the previews because it's...
So it's ordered by release, and maybe that's the wrong thing because it's below all the 6.2.
It's ordered by version number, not by
version number.
Yeah. Cool. All right. I'm going to move on then. So yeah, we talked about support lifecycle. There's likely going to be some concept of an LTS at some point. We don't think that that's going to be with any currently released version today, just given the current usage numbers. But then we'll also, sort of reevaluate how these things might align more closely with .NET, or how these things, are going to be affected by the move to .NET Core 3.0. Which will be likely coming in the next release of PowerShell. You should also keep your eyes peeled on the .NET SDK containers. We will be adding ourselves at some point in the next couple months, hopefully, to the .NET SDK containers, beginning with .NET Core 3.0. And so there will be a PowerShell core available for you for build and test orchestration right off the bat using those SDK containers. So definitely keep your eye. No change there. Got it. You can't replace remove files in use. You can
ignore some of the.
Yep.
Just a little chatter.
Yeah. Cool. Any questions from folks on the PowerShell side? If we want to start contributing and say we are beginners, where do we start, and then aim to continue doing so? So I'm going to link you out to, it's a really good question, our contributing guide. We offer a lot of good information on getting started as a contributor.
And if it's not sufficient, if you want to get started, let us know. Open issue on that. We can add content. We can change content on that guide.
Yes.
Like the intent there is to help people get bootstrapped and contributing.
Yeah. So. That's the contribution guide, and it is, not necessarily code contributions that we need. Like, we need documentation contributions, issue comments, tests, absolutely. So, this is
docs.
Docs. Definitely docs, more docs.
Go back up a bit. We also have the new first time issue thing, which is right there.
Yeah, so this is these marked as first time issues. These are ones that might be a good sort of low-hanging fruit for people that
we'll have to mark more.
Yeah, we will definitely have to mark more, but we think that these are ones that folks who are not necessarily expert coders can hop on and sort of cut their teeth on. So definitely give those a look. I'm going to go up to this next question. Is there a possibility to push update through Windows Update? So technically, we would be pushing this through Microsoft Update, which is that checkbox you get on Windows Update when there's a little, let's see here. If you go Advanced Options, you're going to get this Receive Updates for other Microsoft products when you update Windows. Today, we have committed to publishing updates that have critical security updates to Microsoft Update. Unfortunately, given the sort of the vast quantity of different versions that we have out there, Delta patching is really hard for MSIs. And so the overhead of publishing those to Microsoft Update is more than they're willing to take on for anything but critical security fixes. But we are investigating, I think, at some point, we'll be investigating the usage of MSIX.
MSI might solve some problems, but someone had pointed out that that would not work down level, so Windows 7.
Right.
So we'll have to figure out how to reconcile that. The good news is that we have not had a critical security update, so we have not had to force deploy anything through Microsoft Update. So we can take that as good news.
So Thomas Rayner asked to increase the adoption of Updatable help. Has anyone put some thought into allowing PowerShell Gallery to host? Oops, sorry. Okay. Tyler opening more screens on his phone. I know. Yes, the short answer is yes. We've thought about that. The reality is that we know that the Updatable help internal pipeline for publishing content for anything except the inbox PowerShell 6 modules is pretty busted. We have re-engaged with some folks in the documentation engineering team to try and sort of fix this company-wide, and we're investigating the possibility. And it's very early days, I should say, and these things do sort of tend to spin for a while when you've got as many organizations as we're trying to bring into the fold on the table. But yeah, we're looking into it. We want whatever we do to be generalizable to the community, and so if that means having some kind of service in the gallery, or if that means offering some kind of endpoint or pre-canned automated workflow for people to build and publish that help, that's something that we may do. But I think that's one approach that solves that problem. Sure, Thomas.
There's a couple of questions on Twitch. So there's a question about .NET Core 3.0 coming. So
yep.
The current plan or thinking is that after the 6.2 release for 6.3, we'll start on .NET Core 3.0. There's already work happening in the GitHub repo started by Chris Bergmeister, and I was working on it last night. We're down to like 4 failures now, test failures in the Windows side. So I think we're pretty close. So after 6.2 GA in March, hopefully, then the first preview one of 6.3 should have .NET Core 3.0, which will we'll talk maybe more about that later. Should bring us much more capability, including more compatibility with .NET Framework and with PowerShell. There's also a question, and if we stick with our 6-month release cadence, then 6.3 should GA around September timeframe. There's also a question about compiling PowerShell scripts into a package or binary. Something that we've talked about many times. It's not a simple problem. Something maybe we can revisit in the future, but there's no immediate plans for that. Unless someone submits a PR. But then I would recommend writing an RFC for that first.
Cool. Any other questions in there?
I can see most of the chat is from Tyler, complaining about stuff.
Wait, when did I do that?
I see you talking about Discord and Skype. On Twitch.
Oh, on Twitch. Yeah. I had some trouble with the Skype meeting, getting that to work. But yeah.
Now I'm seeing some questions on the Skype.
So yeah. So did you join the Twitch instead of the?
No, I have both of them.
You have both. Okay.
I can flip back and forth and get this. What's that, Matthew?
Should I talk about that, or should I talk
about which? Twitch?
Twitch in general.
Yeah. Why don't you talk about that, and then we can go back to some more questions.
Sure. So for those of you who don't know what Twitch is, twitch.tv, it's a website for live streaming. And what we've seen in the past few years is that people are live streaming writing code. And this is kind of like a rubber duck debugging type of thing for the streamer, but also just an opportunity for people to hang out and code together, or watch people code and kind of see how their process is on how they go about doing that. So I've been live streaming every Thursday at 10 a.m. I'll actually be doing a live stream right after this if you're interested in taking a look. I've been streaming on I'll have someone post the website in the chat, but it's just twitch.tv/Tyler Leonhardt, my name. Yeah, Joey's got it right there. Yeah, there's a ton of people in the community who've been live streaming recently. I think of like Mark Krause has been doing it. This guy goes by Corbob who's been doing it. Just a few, and the community is growing and growing. What you should check out is the PowerShell Live Twitch channel that Mark set up. I want to say it's just twitch.tv/PowerShell Live, and that auto hosts a bunch of people who are live streaming, writing PowerShell and other things like that. So take a look at that, and if you have any interest in live streaming yourself, feel free to contact me, and I can walk you through the steps. But it's a lot of people have really enjoyed it, and so we're just kind of seeing where it goes. So that's pretty much that. We're live streaming this community call right now, actually, on my channel. If you want to watch from there. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I have to say about that.
All right. So going back to some of the questions on the Skype side, looks like Matthew has a question about PowerShell RC maintenance. It's a bit stale the last 6 months. Care to clarify expectations? So I think we kind of talked a little bit about this last community call. Like one of the things that we started several months back, and maybe you haven't seen some of the results yet, is that every week we have a separate meeting from the normal PowerShell community meeting that we have on Wednesdays on Mondays to review RFCs so that we can start making progress on those. I believe we formally approved another one this week. We just need to submit the final update to that. And that is on the generalized splatting one, RC0002. So finally, we approved that with some changes so that if someone want to go ahead and implement that, it's done from the committee perspective. But yeah, so we are going through those and we set up time. If there's any ones that you have an interest in because you want to implement it, go ahead and just raise it up to Joey and myself, and then we can prioritize those higher so you're not blocked behind those.
Yeah, I think this is a question that I think got asked on, I think Matthias, who I believe is on the call, was asking on Twitter. It's like, hey, if I've got the implementation ready to go, is there anything else I can do, basically? And I think at some point, we've got to do this sort of soft approval of an RFC. Like, yeah, this is kind of something we would consider. And
we have the experimental accepted.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So I'm saying that's really
we should move more quickly on those.
Yes, and so like we can lower the bar a little bit in terms of quality if you're ready to submit the PR.
As an experiment.
We can take it behind an experimental feature flag, but we do need some indication of that. So I will. I don't know what the ping should be for marking an RFC that way.
That is
like how should folks raise to us that an RFC is?
I think maybe for now, until we have a more formal thing, you can just mention Joy or myself that you want to move ahead and do an experimental feature for this RFC, and then we can they'll bubble up. At least we'll see it, and then we can do something with it.
Oh my God! I have if anybody in the chat knows why VS Code occasionally just starts getting 3 seconds behind your typing, that would be awesome if you have a fix for that.
You're like in a time bubble or something.
If you're ready to implement a feature, whose RFC,
I thought they fixed.
The RFC is stagnant, mention Steve and Joey, and mentally approve. You can implement a PR behind a feature flag. And I have to talk out loud because the text is just going so slow.
Wow.
All right, so I'll catch up. While you're typing, there was a couple of questions about the .NET Core 3.0 release. I don't think we can say anything about that. I don't know if they published dates themselves yet. I tried to do a quick search. I couldn't find exactly where they published it.
Yeah, I don't know that I can speak to the .NET Core 3 dates, but just poke around online. There should be something that gives you a reasonable expectation. We expect, we hope that it will be available for us within our 6-month cadence sort of promise that by September we'll have a stable thing that we can build upon. There was a question up here about why the SQL Server module hasn't been put on GitHub. Open sourcing a module is much harder than it would appear to be. It's not for Microsoft employees simply throwing code into a repository. Unfortunately, we don't own that module. Matteo Tavigia is typically the one that's the point of contact for the SQL Server module. I think that Trello board is something that he maintains pretty well. I don't know that I can certainly ping him and find out if there's any updates there, but I would expect that as soon as he has any updates available, that they're gonna go up there. So Stefan says RFCs feel like a black hole where type text goes to die. Agreed, which is why we stood up this new meeting and are trying to drive them down a lot harder. It is unbelievable how long we can discuss certain stuff. Realistically, we know that the language is a very it's a thing we have to sort of protect, especially given the maturity of the platform. And as simple as some of these things seem, we really are having extended conversations about it. And I know I've made some, I don't want to say promises, but I've said in the past that we would try to have better output of sort of notes of those conversations and possibly even recordings. I will say some of those conversations have gotten heated enough that I'm not sure, not in a personal way or anything like that, but people are very passionate about their opinions, and I'm not sure that a recording approach is necessarily the best for that meeting, because we do want to be able to have the high bandwidth, very direct conversation. But we have been trying to work harder to give a little more extended details on our conversations and have notes and the PRs and that sort of thing. Hopefully we'll get to a point where the RFC process in the next few months is a little more stable. Yeah, definitely check out this developer streams URL. My keyboard is on fire. If you've already implemented it, then I again throw the app mention in the thing, and we'll pop it up and see if we can just do like a soft experimental proof, get it behind a feature flag, have people test it out. Because VX Code, I know Electron, right? AMSI CPU usage. Oh, oof. Add memory. It's a 32 gig laptop. Might be Markdown plugins. Actually, maybe the answer.
There are like a million of them.
Reboot 3 times, defrag your disk. You guys are hilarious. I've had to forget what the return key is supposed to do because of Markdown plugins. Yeah, well, I got the Vim plugin too. It's bad. Mostly interested in getting the ball rolling to get formal feedback on features behavior. I believe it would be easier if the RC draft was accepted plus ID and at least a draft state. That's the idea. Yeah. So we're trying to, the thing is we keep it in the PR because it's like the best way to give like line by line feedback, and we moved off like an issue thing, and frankly finding the RFCs in the draft folder is often harder than finding the PRs, but yeah, we will, like I said, probably do an experimental accepted, and then we'll move from there. Typing lag in VS Code. You guys are so nice. I'll check all this out. Waiting reboot. No, unfortunately not. I have a waiting reboot every day. I'm on a Canary branch. Awesome. Any more questions on the Twitch?
Not that I saw.
Cool. Tyler, is there anything you wanted to talk to in regards to, or Sydney, in regards to editor services release? Do we have one of those around the corner?
Yes. There is.
Talk about the preview.
Yeah. Do you want to take that?
Sure, yeah. So we have hopefully in the near future, actually 2 different releases that will be happening. So first will be an update to our VS Code extension. So that'll be all the various bug fixes and whatnot that have gone in over the past, I think it's been about a month since we last released. And then the second item that's kind of going to be a little bit different is we are creating a preview extension in VS Code. So this will be an alternative to our regular PowerShell extension. And the idea of this is a few items, but probably the most relevant and exciting detail is that with this preview extension, we're going to be supporting PowerShell 5.1 and newer, which will allow us to get out some features that we know you guys have been wanting for a long time. For example, PS readline should be in that release. And then going forward, we'll be able to use the preview version of the extension to just get out features a little bit faster and try out new features to get feedback before we push things into our stable channel. I don't know if Tyler wants to add anything.
No, that's
either of those points.
That's pretty much it. I mean, we want to get that out the door so that people can start messing with it. It's got preview in the name for a reason. It's still rough, but you know, a lot of people have been really excited for this, so we don't want to hold them up on that. It's yeah. So you'll have that. You'll just like enable this feature flag in the extension. So like Sydney said, it'll be a separate extension to the one that we currently have in the extension marketplace today. And the reason for that is that VS Code doesn't really give us a like channel or like beta channel type of thing. So we're shipping it as a different extension, and there will be a blog post on all that stuff, and yeah, more information when that's officially released. But yeah, it's exciting. People are actually going to get to mess with PS readline. Cool.
Question about better tab autocomplete in VS. So if you mean with PS readline in the terminal, then yes, with the new 2.0 preview, unless you mean something else. Comment on the Skype.
You know, the class ties and wait, sorry. Oh, better tab autocomplete. I see. Yeah. So since PS readline, if you're talking about in the console, when you say better tab autocomplete in VS Code, then yes, because you'll have more or less all of the features that PS readline gives you, stuff like menu complete and like the Control R to like back search, all that stuff, multi-line, all the good stuff that PS readline gives us today will be available in the console for VS Code. Site.
Apparently, Bergmeister's also done some work to support running pester tests.
Yeah, so there's a PR out now. It's not quite merged in just yet, but he's been working on some stuff so that you could like right-click on a pester test file, so like .tests.ps1, and there'll be a little option to say like run tests. And I believe don't like quote me on this, but I think he's going to also work on one that's like that does debug tests as well. So it'll run and then kick on the debugger when that when you click that option in the menu. It looks really nice. I'm excited.
There's a question about CloudShell. I know Edwin's on the call. Edwin, you want to talk to CloudShell?
I'm also on the call.
Oh,
If there's any,
Sure.
Your picture. Edwin's picture.
You're Daniel
Hi.
sent them before.
Oh.
yeah, it wouldn't let me join. I had some connection issues, but sorry. Can
Either
guys
one of
hear
you,
me?
if you want to talk.
I am talking. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
What about
Interesting.
CloudShell?
So we're continuing to track like updates to the modules that are going in. So you'll see like module updates to the AZ module and everybody else who releases new ones on a periodic basis. We've done a few other tweaks, like updating some of the messages of the day and things like that, but there hasn't been a ton of dramatic new stuff going in there. There's a couple of things going on behind the scenes, like we have to set up all of this stuff for the special instance of Azure that the government uses. Maybe somebody out there on this call is going to be excited about that, but otherwise you'll just have to accept that we're doing some other exciting work that's not super visible right now. Sorry.
Cool. So I think that's a good transition. Someone was asking about PowerShell Core and Azure Functions, and you'll see I've got the this one stubbed out here. So we raised this on the last call. Once again, I will take raised hands from people who want to participate in that. We do have a private preview that's currently operating right now. You can also see some of the sort of programming model that's taking shape in the Azure Functions PowerShell Worker repo, which I will paste here. We're doing this all out in the open, currently being developed on this repo. This is something that our team has sort of taken the mantle up on to make sure that the worker is implemented with all the sort of PowerShell standards and that sort of thing. For those of you, I apologize in advance, the Azure Functions is essentially a serverless execution environment in Azure that allows you to write functions for PowerShell without having to think about the infrastructure that you're hosting that function in or the PowerShell run space itself. All those things are sort of get managed for you. So it's very similar, if anyone's familiar with AWS Lambda, it's the same sort of technology, but we'll be adding PowerShell Core there. We'll be supporting Windows and Linux. And if you have any sort of interest in this scenario at all, please raise your hand on the chat, and we'll make sure that you get pulled into this this private preview before we launch a public preview here in the next couple months. So it's exciting stuff.
Now they're talking about PowerShell
stuff. Got it. Okay. That's I think that's it on the Azure Functions front.
Hopefully we'll have more stuff we can show and demo maybe in the next, not the next community call, maybe the one after that.
Hopefully the next community call, but we'll definitely, hopefully, almost certainly the one after that.
Yeah. Things are definitely happening.
Does anybody have any other questions? I know we've got more time than we usually do. I know things have been a little light. Jonas, are you already on my my list for that? Your name looks very familiar. Don't think so. Okay, well, I will. If you want, I'll find you on the invite and reach out to you then with some instructions on getting on board there. I know not everyone always has time to get that stuff, play around with that stuff, but obviously any experimentation is a good thing. Cool. And honestly, if you guys are particularly adventurous, you could probably figure it out. No progress on the text-based data grid view. I think we're probably going to be looking at trying to get out grid view working again graphically on Windows once the Net Core 3 stuff comes in. I think there's been some community implementations that we linked to in the last community call. If you check the notes and transcript there in the RFC repo, that we linked out to some of the community implementations. Nothing on the text editor. I think that's again. No, I told you last time, Darwin, that I'd reach out to somebody in Windows about that because I do think that's going to be owned by, someone like Rich Turner. It might be worth actually pinging Rich Turner on Twitter. For those that don't know, Rich Turn _MS on Twitter. That's a good. How can I contact Mateo about the SQL Server module? I will try to remember to ping him. I think a bunch of us, I just need to go talk to him. I think he is Mateo Taveggia on Twitter. But, if he's not responding on that Trello border on Twitter, then he's likely doesn't have any updates. So, what's up?
No, a bunch of stuff coming in.
Yep.
The help system Markdown, that's something we wanted to get into 6.2, but it's not going to happen.
Unfortunately.
It'll probably be something we can look into for 6.3.
You can look into it. Again, we're starting these sort of company-wide conversations about what updates need to happen to Platypus and/or the help system and/or some kind of cloud service, so that we're sort of streamlining the updatable help scenario. But there's nothing to report on yet there. tar for Windows packaging. What do you mean by that, Darwin? Do you mean like you want us to release a tar on GitHub.
Darwin is aware that tar is available.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so it's on Windows in the distro, but there's on Windows in the distro, but there's nobody taking it and making it available in a binary compiled format where we could pull it into Chocolatey or anything else.
I see. It's in System 32, and you want to get it down level, basically.
Well, yeah, and it's just on source on it's just only provided as source out there in the open source world.
It's in Git for Windows, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not the same one.
Yeah.
That's a GPL one that ships as part of GNU or whatever. And if you want the officially blessed, Microsoft BSD tar, I expect, Darwin, that problem is likely because they're not actually building the thing outside of Windows, and it's a general policy not to take Windows-built binaries and just redistribute them without some sort of relicensing. So I expect that's probably what seems like a very basic thing, compile the thing you already ship source for right there and just give it to us, is actually like an entire side-by-side automated infrastructure for signing the thing without using the Windows build, which is something we do and is a very high bar, unfortunately. But
so in theory, we could point Azure CI resources for open source projects to it, create the artifact, and then package it. Is that
yes, if you wanted to own it yourself, I think you could do that somewhat trivially. Yeah, especially if you don't care about having it be Microsoft signed.
Right. Okay.
I'm sorry about that, but I'll try to bring that up when I talk to those. It's going to be the same folks that we talked about the text editor stuff. So, but I would also ping Rich Turn on Twitter.
Thanks.
Rich Turn NS. You have Mateo's email. Yeah, you should talk to Maximo then. Not reinventing VI in PowerShell, but we just need to solve the problem, Jonas, of having a text editor available to you when you do SSH-based remoting into. I do know the internal person for tar.
The question about Office apps and automation. So, unfortunately, that is only COM-based. I mean, that's how they expose it, and the way they expose it is it's a pop-up the application, and you have to see. There may be some other libraries I'm not familiar with that works directly on the files.
I do actually know. There's someone just released a module for. I can't remember where I was seeing this.
Come on, third party.
Yeah.
Wait, I do know where it is. Yeah, this community one. It actually is able to build Word and Excel files without having Word or Excel installed.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Which is freaking awesome. I will try to pull up that link before.
PowerCode just.
It was. I saw something on PowerShell Planet about it.
It was. I saw it on
blogs.
On Reddit. There was a post about like the 20 PowerShell modules I made this year.
Right. That one.
Oh yeah.
And it was. And there was like.
Doug Fink. I know that he did something that I always assumed that he was always using COM, but if he was actually doing direct file manipulation, that's pretty awesome.
I'm gonna find this in 3 seconds. There we go. evotech.xyz. 16 PowerShell modules I've worked on in 2018. He also did a PS Teams,
there's a link in the
PS
chat.
Discord. Oh, you got it.
A bunch of people posting stuff.
Excellent.
There's a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, PS Write Excel.
There was a question about the archive module supporting other formats. So there is an open issue already where I don't believe .NET Core itself is supporting additional formats, but there is a popular third-party NuGet package that can support it. So there is desire, although no time to do this, to actually rewrite the archive module as C# because it's currently written as a PowerShell script, and leverage that third-party nupkeg so that we can actually support, zip64, for example. So if you have a VM right now, the .NET Core APIs only support up to 32-bit size. So you have a 2 gig limitation on a VHD, which you can hit quite immediately for a VHD that's zipped up. So there's a bunch of stuff that we want to do there. So if anyone wants to kind of take that up, again, more than happy to accept those PRs.
So Joel's asking about the chance of us getting this binary parsing PR in for 6.2.
Binary parsing?
Parsing of numbers.
Yeah.
So what is this one? 152 comments. Do we know what this one's blocked on?
Oh my.
It was reviewed by the committee. I don't recall it right now off the top of my head what the latest issue is, why it is still.
And he's been rebasing it as time goes on, but it looks like it's.
Oh, so maybe it's waiting on Travis. I can ping Travis to see if he's the last person who had some comments. Can you just scroll up a bit, see if people have signed off on the right side?
On the right
Billy?
I mean, you're looking at the right side, right?
No,
No,
you
is
just
it
go up.
blocking the
Oh,
very top one?
yeah.
Yeah, it's there.
It looks like so. Part of it is looks like we need some reviewers to actually sign off and approve it, and then Travis, who's the maintainer, would then merge it. So
Yeah, it's been here since October. He's been rebasing along the way. We should make sure that this one gets addressed, especially it's binary parsing. I think this one actually would be really nice to have in 6.2.
after this call, I'll ping Bruce and maybe a few people to see if they can actively review that and we can get that in.
OpenXML, yeah, you can look into that. Yeah. Cool. Any other questions? Have you checked the Twitch?
Oh, I haven't recently. Last time I saw there was
Nothing on
nothing.
Twitch.
Okay. Were you watching that PowerShell live Twitch too? Is the chat different?
No.
because it's
You
hosting
rehost.
me, right?
Yeah.
That's a good point. I haven't been watching that.
I have to look at 3 chat windows. Crazy. I need a chat aggregator.
YouTube too.
No. It's against TO.
Really?
Yeah, you can't. YouTube doesn't let you stream their stream on multiple services.
If they're the last one to get you.
Yeah. No, you can't.
It's just
The standard. I'm
just
not
don't
a
do
lawyer.
it. Foundry stream.
Yeah, I can give you the link for the list of modules. I think it was is it evotech.xyz. I'll put this in the chat.
Yeah, there's a comment from a person, so I'll review the ones that are resolved and see if we can just close those out.
Yeah, this is the, I'm pasting in the chat the link. All really cool modules.
Yeah.
This person really cranked it out this year.
No, but that one opens Word.
That's pretty innocent. Look at that VS Code.
No. This is he's showing that when he opens it, it's
Oh,
working.
I see. So only for after the fact.
Yeah, this is to create Microsoft Excel worksheets without Microsoft Excel being installed. That's pretty crazy, man.
Isn't that just a CSV? I'm just kidding. I haven't taken a look.
No, it's a real.
It's
a real
pretty
deal.
sure the new Office
It's a real
supports
thing.
Open Office format, so Open XML, whatever they call it.
Yeah, it's just you know. All right, you need to read. Sometimes you really need an XLS.
PS Coffee.
I think we published our formats, our doc formats. Because Office docs are now just zip files with a folder collection of XML files.
Yeah, except for when they have binary blobs in them that aren't
Yeah.
documented, and it's like there's an extension point that just lets proprietary stuff in it. But I digress. We should just make a reminder to everyone. Do get your tickets for. I don't know if PowerShell Summit NA is already sold out or not, but if it's not, definitely get your tickets for that.
There's 17 tickets left. There's nothing. There's very little tickets
Yeah,
left.
get your tickets. PSConf EU is coming up in April. Definitely get your tickets for that. I think PSConf Asia is not for another 6 months, right? So
Something like that, yeah.
Probably you got some time there, but definitely, the PSConf EU is in June. My apologies. Got moved up a little bit this year. That's cool.
Early June, I believe, like June 1st or something.
Yeah, this shows you how far out I look at my calendar. Yeah, get your tickets. Get your tickets. They're going to be fun. We're going to have speakers there, all of them. I will be there at both. A bunch of the people in this room will probably.
I'll be at both.
So
I'll be at both.
Yeah, Tyler will be there.
So yeah, get your tickets. Come see us talk and all the other amazing people talk. Happy, same diff. Same diff. Cool. Any more questions? I think we might call this one a little bit early.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of corrections. It is June, first week of June. Someone could just go to the, let's do a search to find the exact
This
date.
is psconf.eu.
Oh, 4 to 7th.
Excellent. Thank you, Matthias. All right, everybody. I'll have the notes, and oh my God. No.
Why, it was not recording?
We didn't record.
It's all right. The stream's recorded.
Twitch is recorded.
Wow.
I was
tell
just
me you
sad
didn't say
Joey to
that.
happy Joey really
Twitch has
fast.
got our back. Saved by Twitch. Granted, like the first, I don't know, 10 minutes, there was no audio because I was like trying to figure out what was going on. But hey, it's something.
It's better than nothing.
Yeah.
All right, we'll try to get that up today. Tyler and Twitch, save the day. Thank you everyone for joining. We will see you next month. Would love the word cloud, Joel. We'll have the transcript too. You can word cloud them both. I can't wait. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your week, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Take care, guys.
Take care.